So Zootopia 2 is here. Or in my country, it was called Zootropolis 2. I have the proof, right here. And once again, we have a sequel to the beloved first film. In a world where sequels to films can sometimes get a bit of a bad reputation, especially when it comes to Disney, I always give credit where credit is due. There are films that shouldn't have sequels because they tend to work better as a standalone movie. But some sequels, even if the film isn't good, the idea of a sequel makes sense for the contribution of the story and the characters. Luckily, Zootopia 2 is an easy pick to get a sequel. The first one was highly successful, it came out in 2016, so it's been more than enough time, and the buddy cop formula for this franchise is a recipe for sequels, giving these characters another adventure to go on. So I was excited for this, and for the most part, I would say the film delivers, but it does have some problems. So let's break it down and talk about it. So this film's plot involves around helping a new character called Gary the Snake, which we'll get to him later, and how snakes were once framed for a murder and now snakes and all lizards are basically vilified and live in the underbelly of Zootopia. And at the same time we also have Judy and Nick, who apparently are struggling being partners and kinda have to prove that they work well together, which if I'm being nitpicky, this plot, while it works in the end to have a meaningful arc for these characters, it just felt very left field to me. Why do Nick and Judy have to prove that they work well together? We have an entire movie of proof that they do. I don't know, this whole plotline just feels really weird. Even during its sequel, they keep saying that these two are really at odds with each other, but when are they at odds? The only scene I sort of see this to be the case is when Nick and Judy follow Gary into the water tunnel, and Nick saves Judy's life to stop her from drowning. Which was really weird. Like, Judy, why are you fighting with Nick? He just saved your life, girl.
And I think I deserve a little appreciation.
I feel like I know why they chose this arc for these characters, which I will explain more later on, but it was so weird how these characters are trying to show that they're at odds with each other, but I literally never see this during the movie.
What the hell's going on over here?
The film's first half is almost held together with duct tape. They're trying to remind us of what happened last time, which really didn't need to happen. Every time a sequel comes out for a franchise, people always end up watching the previous films. Zootopia 1 has been on Disney Plus's top watch this entire past month. People are rewatching the original, so don't worry Disney, chill. We remember what happened. While at the same time they're trying to move the very convoluted plot forward with extra exposition on top, and giving us an arc for our two main characters. It has a lot of information to give us, and it's all very wishy-washy in the first half. As soon as we go to the lizard hangout, the film improves massively just because the film can finally have the momentum to get going, and when it does, it's non-stop fun. So when the story gets going, it is a lot of fun, and engaging in the new characters is great. Gary the Snake might be my favourite of the new cast. His performance from Ke Huy Quan is incredible. Like, considering he's someone who has a very strong accent, and English is obviously a second language for him, I would love to see how many takes he did for some lines. He does a phenomenal job. Like, the guy really has risen so much lately, and this is just going to shoot him into stardom even more. And he deserves it.
Mom! I just want an Oscar!
Like the first movie, the film is filled to brim with pop culture references, and while I did find myself laughing massively out loud, it's really in your face this time.
It's not a subtle point that you're making.
Pop culture references are tied to this franchise, and while there are some in this film that are subtle, some are massively in your face and really don't serve much more other than to be an Easter egg for the sake of Easter egg. I mean, they literally do a Shining reference with music and all. Really not subtle in the slightest, and it didn't really serve more of a purpose other than to do a bit. Like, I laughed every time it happened, but I realised none of this really matters or has any weight to it. Like, the biggest pop culture reference in the first movie is obviously Mr. Big, but with him, at least he's a plot point of finding where Mr. Otterton went. But this film doesn't really have anything like that. So while the references are funny, they're like a shotgun to the face with its subtlety. One thing I think the film definitely improves on, I say, is its villain. In the first movie, Mayor Bellwether is a pretty dull twist villain who kinda just shows up at the last second. In this film, the villains have much more presence throughout the entire story, with a great performance from David Strathairn and a much more interesting twist villain from Andy Samberg's character Porbert. Although, I just want to say that I literally called it from the moment his character is introduced. Oh, you're a shy, seemingly too nice and friendly person to our lead character? Yeah, I think this guy's the bad guy. But overall, I would say the villains in this film are a massive improvement, even though the bar wasn't really set too high. As I mentioned at the start, the arc for our two lead characters is how they need to prove that they work well together. And while in the end it becomes about Nick and Judy understanding their differences and talking about their issues in a beautiful scene, which, yeah, Nick Wilde really brought me to tears again, it does pay off. Seeing how these two characters communicate is such an amazing thing to watch. I love these characters together, and their partnership is incredibly beautiful. I adore how it's not a romantic one, and it's just pure love and friendship. It's how they set it up in the first act that brings them down for me. These characters obviously need an arc for their movie, otherwise what's the point? But it feels very tacked on. It's something that works in the end, but its setup was really poorly done. So something the first film obviously did extremely well is it wasn't just a fun buddy cop movie. It was a film about a very strong theme. And everyone, and even myself, were all online speculating whether this theme would continue or would be elaborated more in its sequel. And I gotta be honest, this theme for me hits even harder. I mean, I mentioned in my review for the first film how even though I'm someone who can't go through any form of discrimination, I can obviously appreciate these films' messages. But this film's message once again knocks it out of the park, coming from a different angle. The film is using heavy inspiration of something like the immigrants coming over during the Ellis Island processing station that started in the early 1900s, where the most number of immigrants came into New York and other parts of the United States. The film's inspiration to make reptiles a form of immigration and their contribution to society is absolutely awesome, and I might favour this theme over the first film even though they are dealing with similar subjects. Okay, so I don't get very political very rarely on this channel, but with this film's themes, it's kinda hard not to. With everything going on in the world, I think I know why this film's themes really resonated with me. Lately in the world, especially in the US and here in the UK, things have got a little crazy, and people are saying some horrible stuff. As someone who lives in a very multicultural part of the world, I adore learning and working with people of different cultures. And considering how my country's national dish is a goddamn curry, it's so good. Yeah, the world is made up of different things and different cultures from all over the world. I personally think we should celebrate our differences, learn them, and be inspired by them to enjoy them all together. So watching this film in today's world really got to me. It shows that stuff going on in your life can really make you think a little bit more about what's going on in the world. This film's beautiful message on contribution and working together from different ways of life is no short of being amazing. So it's getting my professional rating of 8 out of 10 and my personal rating of 8 out of 10 as well. I mean, do I think this film is better than the first movie? No. Is it the most perfect Disney film? Again, no. But right now, I think it's a film we need. So thank you for joining me in this video. Let me know in the comment section what are some of your thoughts on Zootopia. Zootopia 2. If you can leave a like and subscribe, I would really appreciate it as it helps me grow here on YouTube as I am only small. But thank you as always for watching and I will see you all real soon.